Hello guys, welcome to the channel, and this is the first video of three that we're going to talk about configuration with the machine. It has always been a nightmare to configure the machine. The first configurator that Poseidon put out with the MK6 was a nightmare. People didn't understand it, and even now, 15 years later, people still don't understand what to order and how to configure the machine, how to make it useful for diving, and so on. My name is Peter Anderson, and I used to work as a sales manager for Poseidon for 7 years. I also was the residential instructor trainer at the office. Also doing the service technician training, instructor training courses to teach instructor trainers at the office for service and warranty repairs and all the stuff. On top of that, I have been teaching hundreds of students diving with the 7. I've been diving the 7 myself since 2010, and I have more than 4,000 hours on the unit in the water. So I came up with some ideas when it comes to configuration. I tried to get this going through Poseidon a couple of years ago by simplifying the facts that we have 3 parts. We have the canister, we have the electronics, and we have the buoyancy package with the lungs, which is also a nice feature or nice thinking when it comes to simplify the diving, because then we have 3 things that we want to put together when we want to go diving, and not to take the machine apart in molecules every time we have been diving. So I will walk you through this in a series of 3 videos. The first one is the canister, the second one is the electronics, and the last one is the buoyancy lung video. Not to make it too long for you to look at one long video. So I'm going to learn you how to set it up and how to buy the correct machine from the beginning, from the start. And this video is also for the dealers, for the distributors around the world, because it seems to be a confusion about what to order and how to order. Poseidon now put up a new configurator in the web page, which is still a nightmare because you don't understand what to order, and it's a confusion. These guys have not been in the water, they are not diving the machine, they are just trying to sell you all the stuff that they have in the warehouse. So please bear with me and look at this video, and I will enlighten you some in the configuration. And this video is also for my friends in England who are selling the machines, my friends in Spain who need some training and also need some knowledge about how to sell a machine and which configuration to use. Germans, all the distributor and dealers around the world have this video as a guidance when it comes to ordering the machine from Poseidon. If you talk to Jürgen at the support, you can order a Mr. Anderson machine and he will know what you are talking about. So, the machine is completely modular. There is only one machine, it's the 7 Plus, end of story. But due to some education things, is that if you want to dive the machine in an open water advanced recreational type, you can have the bottles with the valves up on the machine, which simplifies it a little bit, because then it's a small machine, you can easily dive it, and it's not so much stuff to put on the machine. And then we have the organization, when you want to go technical, the organization from education wants you to have the tanks inverted, so they want you to have the valves at the bottom to turn on and off the bottles in case of an emergency or for some skill practice and so on. So that is the difference between a recreational machine and a technical machine. The recreational is good to dive for down to 40 meters. You're not going to die if you dive it to 45. And the other one is when you walk into the decompression part with the Deco 40, Deco 60, and Deco 100. We're going to talk about all these options as we go, and I will explain to you why you should do this and that. There are some extra things that you should consider when ordering a machine, and that is the stand. The stand, I actually made version 3.0 now, so I change this one, so this is now 8mm round steel, stainless steel, for you to be able to have this on your back, and you can hook up the diluent tanks and spools and stuff here. It's also a little bit more sturdy, so it doesn't bend when you put the machine down on one side, and it's quite convenient to have for the machine. The cover, there is a Poseidon cover that is plastic with 2 rails, but we also have this one is the steel cover that I've been using for quite some time now, and this will come out in a black version with a longer lip for protecting the top of the machine. Then we have the tank covers. The tank covers, I've seen so many tanks that looks like shit because they are scratched, they are rusty, and so on. So I made a Cordura tank cover. That is, you can buy them, and they protect the tanks really nice, and it's also a kind of, yeah, it's easier to fix the tanks to the machine when you are attaching them with the tank bands and so on. So the tank covers are nice to order, and also the weight pockets. The weight pockets from Poseidon is the quick release, and you know the quick release weight pockets from Poseidon, they look like this. And then you have a detachable inner pocket where you can have up to 5 kilos in each side. And these ones are also made in a special way on the back. So I changed some stuff on the back so it's possible to put them on the tank bands vertically. I will show you that later when we come to that part of the videos. But these are some extra things that they don't talk about in the configurator. They don't talk about it even if you talk to the sales guys, because they have no clue what or why you should have these things. The stand is nice because it will put you in a situation where we want to have it simple. We want to have it like Tac Toe, A, B, C, the canister, the electronics, and the buoyancy package. That is the main thing of this configuration video. So if we move into the A, to the canister, we have the tank bands. We will come to the stand later, but we will do the tank bands. There is 3 ways to attach the tanks to a machine. There is a quick mount that is possible to put on the machine. They are clamps to the tank, and there is a sprint or a pin, and you just hook them up with these hooks to the rails that is on the machine. And for the dealer and distributors, they normally come so the hooks will work upwards. If you want to have them the other way, you have to turn the brackets or the rails on the canister. Then you just take the screws out, and then you loosen these screws, and then you can take the top off. You take the top off, and then you can slide the rails upwards. You can not slide it downwards. You slide it upwards, turn it around, and then slide it down again. So you will have the small part here and the bigger part down here. Now on this machine, you can see that if I take out the sprint or the pin, I can hook the hooks, and I can hang the bottles on the machine like this. In a good world. And then you have the sprint at the bottom. So you need to change the rails if you're using this. This one will be like this underwater, and it will sound like a rattlesnake. So I don't use this. It's not convenient to travel with, and some people like it. I don't. The standard tank band is what comes with the machine. This is a normal tank band, and you have one here at the bottom and you have one here at the top. It's very inconvenient to have these tank bands because they are loose, and they are, when you want to move the bottles a little bit up and down when you're configuring the machine for diving, it's a nightmare. So forget about these tank bands, and I recommend you to buy the metal bracket tank bands, and they look like this. These ones were actually not sold that much by Poseidon, because there was an engineer who almost cut his fingers when he was diving with it or using it. There are some questions about how to configure this one, so I will show you. And this is also for the dealers and for the distributors and the instructors and so on. There's a logo, and you want to close it backwards towards my body, which means that this is my back, and I want to close it like this, so I want to have this one on this side. So people ask me many times, how do you put it on and how do you take it off if you want to adjust it? You put it in the middle, you slide this one through, there is a Velcro here, and there is a metal ring. So you put the ring like this, and then you put the Velcro all the way in as close to the bracket as possible. And then you pull it through until this part of the Velcro comes loose, and you can unhook it, and then you can push it in. The under side, or the band on the at the bottom, you can push it in. And here you have a bracket and some protection Cordura. This one you should leave as is, because you should not put it in here, because then the metal will scratch the tanks anyway. So the trick here is to keep that Cordura part like it is. It is possible, as I can show you, that you can actually put it out through the bottom here, and then you put it in here instead. Now you have a protection here, and you have a protection here for the metal. So this is doable. And the length of this you have to adjust. So you just need to pull it out a little bit, adjust the length, and it is quite hard and quite stiff when it's new. When you have dived it a couple of times, it will be more soft, and it will be easy to close, and it will be easy to adjust. So I put it like this, so I have the edge here at the top of the bracket there. The opening in the bracket is supposed to be at the top of this one. Then I have a length that I can use and I can work with on this side. And I want to show you once again, because I want to show you to attach the tanks. So I want to have the tank pads on. So I do the same on this side. I take the ring off. I make sure that the logo is correct and it closes towards this rail that is on my back. And I want to do this. So I put this one in. I have to fold this one up a little bit. I put this one in. I go all the way. I don't go all the way. I go like this. I'm so sorry. So you see, even for me, it's a little bit confusing when it comes to using this one. And this one has already been adjusted for the protection here. So you take it out like that, and then you put it in like this. And these brackets will hold the tanks firm and tight with only one tank band on each side. There are some divers who have gone through the configurator and ordered 4 of these tank bands, which there is no need for. So you pull it in, and when you have the Velcro part here, you unhook it, and then you just push it in like this. So the height will be something like this to start with. Now it will be quite hard for the first time, because these brackets are new and they are quite hard. But when I have been diving this machine for 5 times or 10 times, it will soften up a little bit. And the thing is, when you are attaching the tank, you put your thumb here and you pull, then you take away your fingers so you don't hurt yourself, and then you clack, you close it. I will show you in a minute. That is the tank bands. Please use these ones, convenient. I will show you that the tanks are really sturdy and they will attach to the canister quite well. And it's very easy to just unhook a little bit and adjust the height and then come back and tighten it. Then we have the stand. So the stand comes with a 2-part actually, because there is a rail or a quick mount that comes with the package. So this is the QMR for the BCD or wing or plate. This is one part. And if you look at this wing, one harness I have here, I just show you briefly that the other part of this is attached to the wing and plates. We're going to talk about that when we come to the 3rd video in this series. This here is very crucial because this makes the package. So we have this here, we put it on the stand like this. It rests on the metal part here, so you need to have that aligned, and it should be from the factory, of course. Then you need to have a, what is this? This is a T4. Now, it's actually 4mm Allen key in the screwdriver. So what I do here is that I need to, from the factory, I need to ditch the SE7EN aluminium locking washers. And I need to use one of these. A big area washer. Because if you don't have that big area washer, this screw will eventually, when you have all this weight on your back, it will actually bend and it will fall through. I have lost a machine on my back on a 60-meter dive inside a wreck, so I know how it feels to have the machine down your knees on the back with the hoses a little bit tight, but I managed. Here we have the Allen key, and we have the threads on the stand, so we can just start using one of the hose or the threaded hose that we have here, and we're going to talk about the height a little bit. There is 2 things here. One is the height, and one is the length of the screws. So the length of the screws cannot be too long, because if they go through, you can see this at the top. If you look down at the top, you will see if the screw will go through the ruler that is on the stand and push against the, if it pushes against the canister, you will hurt the canister or damage the canister. It's not a human being, so it will not hurt, but you will damage the canister, and you will get oxidation, and you will get, you will have big trouble with the canister. The height should be around about this. It's adjustable up and down a little bit, according to, or not according, but referring to the length of the person. So it is possible to adjust a little bit up and down, but this height should be fine. And you have these 4 screws that are actually holding the complete machine to the rail that you are using, and that is what's holding the machine against you and the body. So these screws need to be tightened quite hard, and they need to be correct. And if you don't have the right washers, this will not be good at all, because this rail will come loose. So now we have, with the 4mm Allen key, we have tightened these 4 screws. That is the only screws you have. And this is, for me, the first part in the Tac Toe. this is the canister that you want to order from Poseidon. It contains the canister, tank bands, stand, and these hoses that comes from the counter lungs. This is how you can keep it when you have been diving. So if you take away the electronics, you unhook the buoyancy package and you take off the tanks. You can just wash it or clean it. Of course, there will be a canister, packable canister inside here and a lid, but this is hosable, washable, disinfectable, and yeah, you just keep it like this, because then you have the A in this Tac Toe thing. When it comes to the tanks, there is two ways of having the tanks on the machine. One is upright, like this, and you can see now that it's quite easy to attach the tanks with these brackets or these tank bands. You just take the tank, we have oxygen on the right side, and we just attach that metal ring there. Then we hold it up, we keep the tank aligned, and the height, you need to practice on the height, because the height, and here you can see now that I'm not hurting my fingers. Clack, that is good. When you have been diving this and it becomes a little bit softer, you have to adjust a little bit. But now it's sturdy, it sits tight, and it's only one tank band. Very convenient. Now I'm going to show you what I do when I have the inversion kit. These valves on these tanks are Poseidon inline valves. So they are the 90 degrees with the valve on the side. And they have an M12 thread at the top. So what I did here is that I bought some rubber balls with the M12 thread. I have this rubber ball, and I will show you when we get to the complete machine how convenient it is for me to take this tank, put it here on the rubber ball, place the tank like this, and it is in the perfect height of the machine, and there's also perfect height for the first stages to be fitted. Now you see here I go halfway, so if I go over the edge and then I take away my fingers and clack, there it is. Now you can see the height here is nice to have the first stage down here, and that is also one of the difference of the stand. The new stand 3.0 is higher. So if you have the old stand or the version number 1 or 2, you have the problem that this is coming too close to the ground, so you have no space left for the first stage kit when it comes to the inversion kit. But here you can see with the rubber ball and with this bracket, it's very convenient, and I can actually keep it like this in my workshop or in my dive man cave. I keep it like this because you can refill the tanks. You can, here you have the package. This is the canister package that I was talking about. Simple and easy. The tanks, canister, everything is here. So the only thing now for an inversion kit version, I put the E-module in here. I put the hoses for the E-module that comes from the E-module. They go down here on the side of the tanks, and then the first stages go into the valves. And I just put on the BCD wing package with a rail and in with a pin, and I'm ready to go diving. So this is what you should consider as a reference for the canister pack that you are using for the 7 Plus rebreather. There was also a protection here, because this is a laminated sticker that is the same you have on the supermarket on the floor where you have commercial and stuff where people walk all the time. It's the same material that they've been using to make these, to protect the canister, because otherwise when you lay the canister down in the car or in the workshop, you will scratch and damage the canister. So that decal is quite convenient. Also with the stand, you have this leaning backwards, and we will get to that when we come to the electronics. Because when you take out the battery, you want the water to come out from the pins and out from the battery compartment. But this is the first video, and we're gonna walk you into the second part. But I'd like to thank you for this one, and see you around.